Hey, Soul Family. Beautiful Saturday morning here, probably the last warm day of the year. Planning on going hiking in a little bit, but I really felt called to get on and make a message. I was talking to a friend who hadn't seen me in a while. Last time I talked with her, I gave her kind of a heads up on some of the hell that I was going through with my toxic, abusive relationship ending, my marriage ending, and some of the things that were happening to me. And flash forward, it's been 9 years probably since I've seen her. And in our conversation, I admitted to her that the only thing that I really truly feel got me through it was my connection to God, divine source energy, my angels, my guides, my higher self. I actually started getting really strong visions and intuitive hits and hearing things. And most people probably would think they're going crazy, but I knew deep down in my soul that I was hearing the voice of God, and God was helping me exit that abusive relationship. I had actually, flash forward probably 6 to 8 months prior to that, been praying to know the truth and to praying to know who my husband really was. There was a lot of red flags, and I had a lot of doubts, and things just felt off. I could never pinpoint him at anything, but I just started, and there was just a very eerie vibe. I just started feeling afraid more. Things were obviously up and down, but we still were doing life, paying bills, eating, going out to eat, making meals, taking care of the kids, having babies throughout the whole time I was married. And my intuition, just something felt off and not right, and I couldn't pinpoint it, so I felt like I was being irrational. But then I really started to pray and trust those feelings I was having, and I asked God to show me, to reveal to me who he really was. I needed to know, I needed answers, and it didn't come right away, but in time, some things kind of culminated and climaxed and came to a head, and caught him cheating. And actually, no, right before this, I had a situation happen where I started to become very afraid and couldn't find him, and was notified in a police situation that we had that he owned an apartment while we were together, just like all these kind of crazy things. And I was like, what the F is going on? And then I heard, it was not really audible. It was more like my thoughts were interrupted by someone else's thoughts. And I heard, you wanted to find out who he is. Tonight's the night you're going to find out who he is. And then I did. I went on a little spy mission with my sister and found him cheating. And it basically unraveled my whole life. My whole foundation was ripped out from underneath me, and everything I thought I knew. And, you come to know and love someone as your spouse, and you think they love you, but you come to find out they were really a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's really painful. It was a very, very, very hard time. I lost 20 pounds. I wasn't eating. I was greasy. I couldn't even get out of bed. But in all that pain, I had kicked him out for a little bit, and he was out for a few weeks. And in that pain, I kept hearing things like, you need to pack, he's going to try to smoke you out of the house. So in my grief and barely even able to move, I was packing up some keepsakes of mine that were precious, and boxing them up and giving to my parents. And thank God I did what was guided to me to do, because those things were attempted to be taken from me. In fact, everything in my home was taken from me. I was kicked out of my house, and really unfortunate events, arrested on Christmas Day. Mind you, I'm the homeschooling stay-at-home mom to our 4 kids we had together, and then my son from a previous and his son from a previous. So I was just a mess. Okay, it was a mess, but I can attribute to when I actually saw clearly what was going on. Somebody that I know said to me, have you ever wondered why I haven't come to your house? It's because I think your husband is a psycho. And I was like, what psycho? That's crazy, right? So then she's like, look into it. It's a thing. And then I started researching narcissism, sociopaths, psychopaths. I really had no idea that they existed, that they could be lying in bed next to you. I thought it was just Jeffrey Dahmer serial killer type of people. What the heck? But then when I started doing research, I was in my bathroom one time, and I was talking to my friend, and I had a vision of a light bulb going on, click, the light bulb which is interesting. There's a light behind me. It's not really, I don't even really need to have the light on. I just wanted that light on. I love that light. Well, anyways, that light, let's put it over my head because that's literally what I envisioned in my mind. I was like, oh, dang. And it was obviously, I couldn't know what I know now. But looking back, like those were just the things that were happening for me. Ways in God, which God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, the divine, your spirit team, your angels, your ancestors, your own self, because I had asked to know. So my own higher self coming through, guiding my path, light bulb moment, right? Start packing. He's going to try to smoke you out of the house. You're going to find out who he really is tonight. And it was just, it unraveled my whole life. Now, while I'm saying all this is because not everybody makes it out like fairly healed and normal and sane out of all of it. Hey, I've struggled with anxiety and depression. I honestly don't mind. They're my greatest teachers right now, like greatest teachers, my gifts. I don't mind mental health issues. Who wouldn't have mental health issues after some of the shit that I went through? They're the least of my worries. And then having kids with somebody like that, your life is never gonna end with the abuse. And I know so many people, and God has put so many people in my path who are struggling with this very thing. They have kids with someone. They can't really fully escape and make a clean break because they're constantly using the kids and as pawns in their sick little game and the control they want to have and the manipulation, blah, 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 blah. And sadly, it really stops good-hearted, loving people from actually being able to have a life of joy and peace and happiness after the abuse. The healing deep within you comes in time, but I find most people shut down who they really are, their emotions, their soul, just to cope. And sadly, a friend of mine's situation ended even bleaker than that. Well, he's a friend of a friend, but a friend of mine told me about his best friend that committed suicide, and he really attributes the reason for the suicide to the abusive ex-partner that he has that is controlling how much time he can see his daughter and taking him to court. And he believes that he just kind of could see the road ahead, that he knows he can't handle another 18 years of life with that person. And I just have so much compassion for this individual that felt like that's the only way out, because there have been days where I didn't know how I was going to make it through another day. I never got to the point of wanting to end my life, but I didn't know if I could physically go another day. And I really had to ask God and pray at my team, like, you need to surround me with love and healing right now. I cannot do this by myself. And then just obviously going through court and all the things I kept praying for guidance, to wisdom, to know. There was lots of losses that I faced. My daughter ended up not living with me because the gaslighting was so bad, and I had to surrender it all. I don't honestly know where I would be without that. And honestly, not only just God, but my angels, and anytime I would be really sad or lonely or afraid, I would go to my spiritual place and imagine myself sitting on a bench with my deceased grandma, who I never got to meet. I feel her really strong in the spirit, and I saw Jesus and Archangel Michael, and I believe they're my spirit team. And I grew up very religious, I'd say, and I always had faith, and I was always advocating for my faith, but it wasn't until exiting that narcissistic abuse that everything kind of came online. It was because I was wanting to walk away from illusion and cloud, and I wanted to know the truth, God revealed it to me and supported me. And I've been on a healing journey since, of finding my joy and peace and surrendering to the things that happen. And I'm never going to be able to fully escape it. Like I said, especially when you have kids, even when they turn 18, it doesn't end there. You got grandbabies, you got college, you got marriages. You really need to learn how to create the peace within and heal and use. And honestly, and when you go through that, you end up losing a lot of friends and family too, because they don't really understand what you're going through. So if you are facing some of this, I really want to urge you and call you to tap into your spiritual side, your angels, your guides, your ancestors. Don't forget that they want to help us on our path, and they are not rude or pushy. They want to wait for permission. Why does it look so cloudy? I don't know. I'm not a tech person very well. But I do have a voice, and I prayed early on that God would use the hell that I've been through for good, and he did. He did answer my prayer. I met constantly was meeting people in my circle, or getting in touch with people that'd be like, so and so would come up to me and say, hey, so and so I think might be going through what you're going through. I don't know how to help her. Can you talk to her? And men, I have a really big heart for men, because this individual that ended his life because of the narcissistic abuse was a male. And I know so many men who are struggling, and they really take this kind of stuff hard, because I feel like for a man, obviously we still shame men for talking about things, and what man wants to say I'm a victim of abuse, right? Especially when it's emotional, not physical. There's so much shame still about owning your feelings, speaking about your feelings, feeling supported in that, and they're walking and carrying these heavy burdens alone. And also they have the disadvantage of they're maybe not as tapped in and in tune to intuition and feelings as a woman is. Now that's a generalization, but so I think they might even maybe struggle a little bit more making that jump to tap into their intuition, their feelings, and let their feelings and intuition guide them and their spiritual side. But it is a call for men who are facing this to do that, to not have shame around that. You are a spiritual being, just like a woman is. And your guides and teams of angels want to help you and assist you. And we need to remember that so much of this battle with these kind of people is a spiritual battle. I really see narcissism, sociopaths, psychopaths, whatever, that is a spectrum of people. I mean, obviously psychopath is a very rare percentage of people that are fit that, but I feel like we have a narcissism epidemic in our world. I don't know about you, but a lot of selfish, self-seeking, lying, betraying, manipulative, gaslighting behavior going on. And I believe it is due to a lack of soul, like a decline in our soul. And I do believe that we really shouldn't compare them to like having a disability, because they can choose. I believe that it is a choice that they're making to be like that, and at a soul level, to affect people at a soul level, and spiritual attacks and whatever else. So yes, fight this at the mental, emotional level. You're going to have to go to court. You're going to have to do the things. You're going to have to figure out how to get your life back together financially. All the tangible physical things that happen when you're healing from abuse that are affected. Watch your circle, have discernment about your family, your friend group, all that stuff. And you might have to go through an isolation stage of healing to really get real with yourself and really work on that, and not to be afraid of that, and to tap into Mother Nature, get outside, to the trees and the grass, and grounding and praying and meditating and allowing God to work through you in your situation, whatever you want to call it, God, source, divine energy. That is what gave me hope. And I can honestly, through admitting it out loud yesterday or in conversation, I was like, wow, yeah, I don't know where I would be without that. That was what saved me. And it was the only support that could really help me. Like, yeah, my parents, my friends and family, give me hugs and meals and whatever, well wishes and stuff. But you need the divine, the support of the divine. Why wouldn't you want the spiritual team, the higher power, who is more omnipotent and omnipresent and omniscient than you? Why wouldn't you want them on your side, on your team, and to tap in? That's what they're there for, to help us on our path. And I really have a heart for people going through this, especially men. And that story last week of, I shouldn't say story, the person who took their life last week because they couldn't handle the abuse, and they could see the road ahead, that there was going to be no end in sight, and they knew their own limitations and their weaknesses and their own addiction struggles and stuff like that, because gosh, yeah, you end up either having anxiety, depression, or addiction issues when you go through this kind of crap, or all three. And honestly, I'm not shaming or judging, because it's a coping. The trauma and abuse is the root problem, not the drinking, not the anxiety, not the depression. And like I said, I've come to see them as my best friends, my guides. When I feel anxious or depressed, it's my call to self-care, to go within, to really look and see what I need. Do I need a bath? Do I need a hug? Do I need food? Do I need to go for a run? Do I need to pay my bills? Do I need to get some shit done around the house? Do I need to clean a closet? Like, why am I anxious? Do I need to get rid of a friend? Do I need to change jobs? Like, I think we really, I don't know why we're still not getting it. It's 2025. And so many other cultures are prosecuting for abuse and emotional abuse and stuff like that. We are behind the times, America. Like, but so I'm wanting to speak to you through the phone, through YouTube, through the ethers, to tell you the healing is possible. Do all the things, to go to court, whatever you need to do, get your life together financially, whatever, but also handle it spiritually. More importantly, spiritually, okay? Because that is what is going to go with you at the end of this life, your spirit and how you showed up and who you impacted, not the cars you have, the amount of money you have, the bank account. Like, so that's the sad thing about these narcissistic people. They're just wreaking havoc in the world and hurting people and gaining all this material wealth and status and power, but none of that goes with them at the end. That's the hard, cold facts of it. So yeah, while you can watch them gain riches in physical riches, you can become rich in spirit, which I believe is far more powerful and important and healing and loving, the loving thing to do. Accept them for who they really are and don't take it so personal. This is a situation on them, on their soul and what they've chosen to be in this life. And get right with yourself, get right with your God, get right with your spirit team, and let the pain from narcissistic abuse heal you and change you into someone else, somebody who can handle the attacks because they know it's not about them. It's a them issue, not a you issue. But it is a you issue in the sense that allow that pain and trauma and betrayal to move you, to call you to set better boundaries, to heal, to tap into your self-worth, your self-healing. Find people that bring you joy and love and that have your back, that love you for you. Not the betrayal kind of love, not the backstabbing kind of love, not the conditional based love, which is what the narcissist gives. It's not real, it's fake. So find the real people that love you. And if you can't find anybody, tap into your spiritual team and let them support you. I would do both. I would do all the things. I would find good people that love you. You might only need one good person that understands you, that wants to help you and see you win, and also tap into your spirit team. Definitely getting some as I get older, the wrinkles couldn't get rid of the wrinkles of all the things I've been able to do. But it really helped me develop my spiritual gifts and become a spiritual guide and teacher and channel. And I can do all kinds of crazy shit now that I didn't know I could do. And I wasn't going to be able to get those gifts with the narcissist. So I had to leave that relationship in order to be who I am and find my mission and my passion, which could possibly be to be a guide for other people going through it. So that's my spiel. It's 17 minutes already of jabbing. Reach me at the Zen Zone at mail.com, mail.com. If you need support, if you want to take my soul quality test to find out what you're dealing with, if your person is just that kind of soul that just needs a take. If you need Reiki healing remotely, if you need a channel guidance message, a soul rest reading too, I can do if you have losing a loved one or loved one passed away and you want their soul to be at rest and find out what they might have been wrestling with. We can put that to rest. The soul does not die. Energy never dies. It can only be transformed and transmuted. So you take this pain, this betrayal, this hurt, this control, this manipulation, this gaslighting, this lying, and surrender it all. Even if it's with your kids, surrender it all. God has a purpose for them and has a plan for them, and you are a spiritual being, the spiritual authority in your life. You can pray over those babies, put them in protective bubbles, and you can call in your legion of spirit team, angels, guides, and ancestors to help you with this. That may be the only way you are actually going to make it out well and alive and healed, and not a fraction of yourself in a what's the I don't know what word I'm trying to say. Whatever, fraction of yourself is fine. But that's meant like where you're just a shell of who you used to be. It doesn't have to be that way. Fill that shell back up with all the things that the narcissist could not provide you, that you were not able to see, because they don't want you to tap into your intuition. They don't want you to be empathetic. Well, that's what drew them to you in the first place, because they were like, ooh, somebody who's compassionate, kind, forgiving, loving. I'm going to be able to, perfect situation for them, because they're going to look the other way when I'm doing pulling shit, and they're going to take on the blame, and they can scapegoat to them. So they did target you, but use all those gifts that you've got to help you become who you really are meant to be. The narcissist didn't want you to be any of those things. You were never going to really be able to tap into your full potential with that narcissist. 20:02 on the time there, mirroring. Okay, so that's all for now. Hope this helps somebody. I'm just sending out collective love and healing energy. And you know what? I'm going to go get my rose quartz crystal sitting right there, beckoning me. And I got a little sign here that says faith over fear. So here's my little rose quartz crystal. I'm going to do a little remote Reiki right now for everybody, just to help us to drop into love, even if it's self-love today. If you're feeling unloved, unwanted, if your kids are with your ex and you lost some battles in court, you're financially broke, you're feeling like a shell of a person, you got anxiety, you got depression, you're struggling now with addiction issues, like, you know what? You're doing so much better than you think, because you know what? It could be worse. You could be the narcissist. Just think of that. That is a scary thing to think about. What is going to happen to them at the end of all this when they have to make an account for themselves? Okay, keep showing up, being loving, being kind, put your faith over your fear, and let's do a little healing right now. Rose quartz is a great crystal for giving and receiving love, and I am giving and receiving love to you right now. So take some deep breaths. And, you know, another thing too is we can often get overcome with just feelings of betrayal and loss and feel really unloved and unwanted because they kick us to the curb, and they usually have other sources of romance lined up. And I wouldn't even want to say love, because it's not love what they provide, fake love. But you know what? Try to find ways that God is providing you the love that you need. And even if it's not romantic love, or with an ex that you wanted, or your husband or your spouse. And for me, it was my husband of 10 years, 12 years together, 4 babies, that did the ultimate betrayal on me, was basically in a long con with him. Got me arrested and lied about me, restraining order against me, almost lost my kids out of it. But, you know, holy shit, it was awful. I can't even believe I've survived it, that I'm here to laugh about it, to talk about it. But this was my path, and I chose to do the hard work of healing. That's the thing too. I made the choice. I made the choice of sitting with my feelings, feeling the pain, the betrayal, the loss, and asking for help and guidance, and then doing the things that I was guided to do. And sometimes that best comes in isolation and not with people. But you know what? There's still so much love around you. There's the sunshine, the flowers, the trees, the birds singing in your backyard, the little deer prancing across the street. A little letter from a friend. In fact, yesterday I was kind of having a crummy day, feeling kind of unwanted and loving myself. I still have days where memories come up, and I've been out 9 years, and I'm like, oh dang, that's right, that happened to me. Or if I have, you know, just feel unlucky in love, even in the dating scene now, being single, as a single mom is like, ugh, yuck, right? So I was kind of having a crummy day myself, but I was cleaning the house. I do house cleanings on the side, and that's along with my Reiki stuff. And I got a text from a teacher who works with the students I used to have last year. And one of the students remembered me helping her with math and put it on her little Thankful Pumpkin project at school. And she shared it with me, and it just said, thank you for helping me understand math better. And it was full of spelling errors and cute little handwriting, and my name was spelled wrong, but she remembered me from a year ago. She could have picked somebody who's currently in her life right now helping her, but she remembered the kindness and love I gave to her, and she gave it right back to me. And yesterday, that just filled me up with so much love. And I have to remember, you know, sometimes love does come to us. The things we want, we need to trust and have faith that God will provide us the things we want. And it may not come in the package that we want it to be. You know, it might not be our husband or our boyfriend, or I don't know, even our kids. I had to surrender that. I'm losing my kids half the time, and there's a lot of manipulation on them. So sometimes emotionally I lose them too. And I've had to surrender even that and still be whole and well with myself. I don't do it perfectly every day, but I do believe I'm further ahead down the path of healing than a lot of other people are. And I can help guide you on to be in a better place. But you are the spiritual authority in your life. Tap in say some prayers and have faith that the answers will show up to you, and get some crystals. I really truly believe they can help amplify your intentions. I think you could do just fine without them, but they are beautiful and they sometimes make you cry, and they do hold energy. And this one's kind of fitting right. Ooh, so I'm gonna squeeze it. And I have a little rose quartz thing hanging in my window of my windshield of my car with a little macrame thing. So I just love rose quartz. Isn't she pretty? So get some rose quartz if you need to. Be the weirdo, be the woo-woo person that prays and meditates and gets in the Bible, journals, sage the crap out of your house and yourself right now. And if you don't like the smell of sage, get some Palo Santo. Clear the energy. Energy can be transmuted and changed. It can never be destroyed. And you can do that healing in your home. Sage the heck out of your kids' bedrooms, yourself, the cupboards. Get it out the window. Set some intentions and prayers. Put yourself in a protective Elastigirl bubble. Your family, your home. Set those intentions and visualizations. That all matters. Intentions matter. Okay, that's enough for now. 2552. Oh my gosh. Every time I look, it's like mirroring. That's crazy. Okay, I'm not going to get into what that could mean. See how it might mean for you. If you need me, find me. thezenZone@mail.com.